Welcome back. Previously we were discussing about Herr schools and his society. He was one of the pioneer of the cooperative movement in Germany. Not only he, there was two persons. We were briefly discussing about one of the person known as Herr schools. So let us discuss about the another pioneer that led to the cooperative movement in Germany. Herr F.W. Raiffeisen. So let us discuss in detail that concept. Herr F.W. Raiffeisen, its reign of operation during 1818 to 1888. So he was one of the pioneer for the implementation of cooperative movement in Germany. Mr. F.W. Raiffeisen was born in an ordinary family at Weibusch in West Germany. He was in the military as an artilleryman but was compelled to retire on account of his failing eyesight. Later in 1845 he became the mayor of a group of villages of Weibusch where he was born. This part of the country was the most backward and the life of the poor cultivators of this area was very miserable. Their difficulties were multiplied during the country famine of 1846-47, and not only that, the dishonest moneylenders such as the cruel Jews also exploited the condition of poor and working class. So Raiffeisen realized that the root cause of all evils and issues was the lack of credit facilities, but the first preference is given for realizing them from the grip of famine, because that was the main issue during that period apart from the Jews. With the support of the government, public, and by employing bakers to prepare bread on wage basis, he could supply food to the peasants. Moreover, he organized a poor people's committee, that is just a group of people. Their main objective is to provide food to the poor and recover the loan after the expiry of the specific period. Then he organized union in aid of impoverished farmers. The funds for this union were raised from rich persons of the locality. The union achieved great success and rescued a number of farmers from the grip of the Jews. The implementation of cooperative movement in almost all parts of the Europe was due to the pathetic condition of the weaker and poor sections. So, realizing the ideas of cooperation, he established Village Loan and Savings Bank as a solution for the problem of rural indebtedness. He made the villages join together and pledge their whole resources to collectively borrow on reasonable terms instead of attempting to get credit by individual of collective liability. Isolated efforts. The first such society on the fundamental cooperative idea of collective liability and security of the members was started by Raiffeisen in 1862 at Raiffeisen, and so the success of the Raiffeisen society was based on some of the factors. So let us discuss in detail what are the various features of Raiffeisen societies. So the important features of Raiffeisen societies are: first one, objects. The chief object of the society was to bring about an improvement in the economic conditions of the members and to provide finance for their agricultural activities or related business. Limited area of operation. Unlike other cooperative methods and movements, here the Raiffeisen society's area of operation of the banks was limited to one village. In the case of a very small village, 2 or 3 villages are combined together. Such compact area enabled the members to have an intimate knowledge about the character, habit, financial position, and other activities of its members and people living in that particular locality. It is necessary for the successful working of a society with unlimited liability and for proper selection of members. Unlimited liability. Raiffeisen believed that for making members more responsible, the liability of members must be unlimited. In order to be more honest and industrious, the whole properties of members like the farm, cattle, and agricultural implements should form as the security for loan they borrow from the society. Then only they will have a seriousness regarding the credit factor of the society. Shares of smaller value. Initially, there was no share system in Raiffeisen banks, but later, in order to comply with the requirements of law, share system was introduced and share value was fixed very low. It encouraged people to join for the cause. Careful selection of members. Membership was restricted to persons of good character and conduct. That is, greatest care and discrimination was adopted in selecting members. First, rural class. Membership was open only to those who belonged to the peasant class of the rural area, because the society was open for the upliftment of the poor peasants. Strict supervision of loans. Loans were issued only to members and only for productive purposes only. Strict supervision was arranged to see that loans issued were utilized only for the purpose for which they were granted. It helps in avoiding unnecessary spending of the credit. Loans of higher amount and longer period. Usually, loans are issued for a longer period and repayment was permitted in installments out of the surplus income derived from the cultivation. The loans were given on personal security rather than tangible assets. No dividends was allowed. Raiffeisen did not believe in distribution of dividend. The surplus funds were deposited in two reserve funds, that is, ordinary reserve fund and endowment fund. The former is for meeting the occasional losses, that is for ordinary reserve fund, and endowment fund is indivisible, that are kept within the organization for purpose of the societies. Care for welfare of members. Raiffeisen gave more emphasis to the moral advancement and material improvement of the members rather than financial benefit. Elected but honorary directors. The general meeting elects board of directors and council of supervision in order to reduce the cost of administration. Their services were made gratuitous and honorary. Final authority. The final authority is the general body which elects board of management and council of supervision, whose services were made gratuitous. Permanent and indivisible reserve fund. Every society, as per the Raifeisen's idea, the profit of the particular society were the collective property of members, so that it should be kept indivisible. Even after dissolution, this fund could not be divided among members, but they can be handed over to a public institution in the area, and this condition is laid to prevent the societies from dissolving themselves out of greed and cupidity. Receive deposits. Raiffeisen societies receive deposits from members as well as non-members, and the rate of interest paid on deposit of members was little high when compared to the other banking systems. And finally, administration. The administration was carried out by three bodies, that is general meeting, board of directors, and council of supervision. In general meeting, it fixes the maximum limit of credit to an individual members, deposits that may be accepted by the society, and loans taken by the society. It also takes decisions regarding the rate of fixation of rate of interest and how to elect board of directors and council of supervision. All these done in the general meeting. The second administration wing was board of directors. They manage the affairs of the society. And the third one, the council of supervision, it exercises general control over working of the society and to make quarterly review of its financial position. So these are the major features of the Raiffeisen society. It has some advantages when it compared to former societies that run into loss. The main issue or failure of the society was regarding the liability of members and regarding the distribution of income at the time of dissolution. These two factors will lead to the loss of the society. So for preventing that, Raiffeisen was very strict regarding the unlimited liability of members as well as permanent and individual reserve fund. So these are the major features with regard to Raiffeisen society. We will discuss about the further cooperative movements in Germany in the coming sessions.